It is sad news that in Nigeria right now, I'm using Nigeria as an example, kidnapping, banditry, terrorism, and many other social vices is now the order of the day. It is now like a business. I am following up a case about one Harrison Gwamuso of Delta State, and his case about a kidnapped couples that were kidnapped, and fake money was inserted in order to track the kidnappers. How Harrison allegedly removed money by the concept of the family, but how the case later bounced back, things like that. Now, it is not about what Harrison did or what Very Dark Man claimed to be doing to him right now. It's about the industry. It's about Nigeria at the moment. In a case whereby a civilian like Harrison is now solving a problem of kidnapping by, going into the bush in order to track kidnappers. Now, that leaves the question: if Harrison, an individual, can have an equipment to track kidnappers, does it mean that our Nigeria government cannot afford such equipment in order to track kidnappers? A certain of aide of the president said that the kidnappers use network from other neighboring countries, and that is why they cannot track them. Is it that there is no sharing of information or intelligence between us and other countries within the West African region? So now this leaves a lot of questions, because it's about life or death. You see that so many people are leaving the UK, for example, because of the immigration issues that are coming up. The immigration issues that are coming up, where you need to spend a lot of years before you can settle and get your indefinite leave to remain, where where you need to earn a certain amount of money for you to be able to get a sponsorship and be hired. It leaves people with a lot of questions. Where am I going back to? Now, there is a lot of propaganda. The other time, the president called on those living abroad to come back, that Nigeria is now better. Now, this leaves a question: if the life and properties of people cannot be secured, the question now is, what are we coming back to do? And now, this is what I tell people. I tell people this: that anywhere you are, the first thing you need to do is to secure your stay, is to secure how you want to stay in that place. We normally, even me, normally tell you that it is good for you to upskill yourself in terms of getting a job that you like, in terms of, getting more certification and getting, more education. But now, it's as if the main thing is to go back to what you were called to do. I was watching a video by Steve Harvey, where someone was saying he's a salesman, he's into beverages, but he was sacked and he had been trying to look for another sales job. And Steve Harvey asked him a simple question. He said, "What is your passion? Like, what is it that you like to do?" And the person said, "Oh, I love doing more of cooking." And he said, "Oh, you love doing cooking? So if you love doing cooking, and then what you are now doing, instead of doing your normal cooking now, is to sell privileges, it means that probably this is a life lesson for you to pull out from that sales job and do what you really like." Now, if you live abroad, instead of thinking about Japa, except you already have a plan of how, or you already made money, you already have another passport, for instance, you already have a business that is going for you. But if that's not your case, that the reason why you want to Japa that is because you are not seeing a green light of the next pathway. The truth is, this is not true. This is not true. Nigerians living abroad in the UK, in the US, in Canada are one of the most educated immigrants that are living abroad, because most Nigerians living abroad have a master's degree. Most Nigerians that are staying abroad have a master's degree. It means that apart from having a BSc, they come here, they do their masters. Some of them even have their PhD in this country, in the UK, in the US. And the truth is this: you can always do what you have ever wanted to do before. I talked about it in a short that I released this morning. That most of us, the course that we currently read right now is not what we wanted to read. Like me, for instance, my first thing I wanted to read was to become a pharmacist. That was what I wanted to become, but I could not get that in the university. I wrote JAM, I could not get that, and after staying home for small time, I decided that since I have already started business, why not go and do business management? And that was how I found myself reading business management. And after that, I proceeded in getting a master's in management. So now, what I have ever wanted to be was a pharmacist or a medical doctor. That was, I know, the childhood dream of being a doctor for most people in Nigeria. But that is what I have ever wanted to be. And in the pharmaceutical industry, I also played in the pharmaceutical industry for 14 years. So even though I was not a pharmacist, I became a pharmaceutical sales rep. I know how to detail drug. I know how to, even though I'm not a pharmacist, I know how to, talk to talk to doctors, talk to pharmacists, talk to community health workers. I have those training for 14 years. I was able to play in that industry. That was because I have love for that industry. Now, let me use myself for example. Let's assume I am here and I am not seeing a pathway. One of the things I can do is to go back to school here and then become a pharmacist. Yes, it is easier when you are already here in the system to upgrade yourself so that you can live on skilled work. But by the time you are, probably when you first come in here, the masters you first come in, I'm talking to students now, you come in here, you are doing masters in history, masters in whatever course that at the end of the day you might be finding it hard to get a job. But after you are university, probably you might not get a job with that course that you read. Probably what year demand is that you become maybe a teacher, or maybe a nurse, or maybe a doctor. Maybe these are the things that the community here are saying that, oh, we lack these skills. We are looking for people with these skills. Now, instead of you thinking, oh, what will I do? Oh, be this. You can do your post-study. Your post-study period should be a time for you to save up money. Forget about investing in Nigeria. Forget about investing here. Forget about doing online courses that will make you become a plumber, whatever. Forget about that at the moment, especially if you are the main applicant. Especially if you are not a dependent. Your first job when you come here is to look at how you can settle. Is to look at how you can settle legally. Is to look at how you can settle legally. And the only way you can settle legally is to provide value for the community you now live in. It is not to come here and now start seeking, except you have a genuine cause probably to seek asylum, except you have a genuine cause. But if not that, you do not have any reason seeking that. You do not have any reason seeking benefit. No. You are supposed to legally find a way to solve a problem in a community you are living, and that is the only way you can integrate with the community. So if you have ever wanted to become a doctor, you are a young guy, you finish school, you have post-study period, should not be time for more gadgets, should not be time for, buying cars, should not be time for that. It should be time for saving up money. Remember that during your post-study, you can work unlimited. But after that period, you need to go back to school. And when you go back to school, to read the course that can keep you here, you have to go back to working 20 hours. So those 2 years should be time for you to save up. It should be time for you to at least save up your fees. The fees that you are supposed to use to pay for that education that you are about to get. At least you should save up to 70 or 80% of it. Even though you are not going to be paying the money once here, nobody is going to be asking you for proof of one because you already live here. But you should be able to have a considerable amount of money so that when you go back to school, your 20 hours will be enough to take care of your rent, your feeding for this period. This period is a period that you are going to use in order to sacrifice and get what you want. The country you are coming from did not give you those opportunities. You wanted to become a medical doctor, they gave you education in herbalist. You wanted to become a pharmacist, they gave you cosmopolitan history. They gave you nothing. So now, if you are in a new system, find a way to build. Now, if you are not a student and you are probably a dependent or you are in another type of visa that allow you to work and stay in the country, you should now start looking for pathway in the types of skills like plumbing, like electrician, like carpentry, like welder, like painter, like building, in construction. Those things are also skills that the community need. Those are the things that the place you are need in order to integrate. So the point I'm trying to make is that do not japa that because you are hearing that this thing is up. Do not japa that because you are hearing that Nigeria is going. You can actually grow Nigeria from anywhere you are. When you buy shares in company in Nigeria, you are already contributing to the Nigeria economy. Most of the houses, most of the hotel, most of the schools that you see that they are building in what do you call it, in Lekki, in Abuja, in big city, are not being built by people living in Lekki. They are not being built by people living in Nigeria. They are being built by Nigerians that are living in the diaspora. And that is the truth. So now, with all this insecurity that is going back home in Nigeria, how should you position yourself? Should you japa that just like that? Or should you now think about yourself? Remember, the basic thing in life is to first of all save yourself. Because it is only when you save yourself that you can now think about saving others.